strapped in, stuck in a song you can't turn off. Like a merry-go-round, my head is spinning. I see you rapping about, I'm sure as hell not. 'Cause in my mind we're smiling on the dance floor, late night skin dipping like we're on our own run. Got the words though, 'cause we're so young. We're in your car singing crazy to the radio. I remember it's like time's been frozen still. Oh, had no words though, we were so young. Now you're long gone.
It is Memorial Day 2025. Thank you for coming in today. We got my dad up there. I appreciate you being here, and we've got more people in the background. This is a very special day. It's a very important day for me and for the Lee and Betty Johnson Memorial Charity. About 3 years ago, I embarked on this journey to raise money for Wreaths Across America, and it has evolved over time. Not only are we trying to raise money for Wreaths Across America, but we're trying to help our veterans, period. We're trying to help through Mission 22, Wreaths Across America. And I want this year to be one of the best years that we've ever had in fundraising. And the only way that we can do this is through the community that we've built over this past 3 years. I couldn't have been more proud to be standing there at the Chattanooga National Cemetery when I was told that we were able to fill the cemetery for the first time in Wreaths Across America history. As I said, I couldn't be more proud of this audience, and you guys are more than an audience. You guys are friends, and we get together every Sunday. And I know that we can do this if we all work together, because that's what we do. We help out those in need because that is what we are called to do. And on this Memorial Day, we are going to remember the fallen because they've given so much for us and have never asked for anything in return. So I thank all of you for being here on this Memorial Day 2025. And we're going to start bringing up our co-host for the evening. We're going to start off with my very good friend, Chris from Shade Tree America on YouTube.
Hey, everybody.
We've got TJ.
Hey.
And then, of course, we couldn't have a show like this without our very good friend. He's been hustling all day today and pretty much all week. Gary from Jailbait and Tackle Outdoors. And coming back from his hiatus, we have Brian from Cheesehead Media. And returning for his second appearance on the show, and we appreciate him being here, Mr. Eric LaPay. I'm sorry, Eric. If I put your last name, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
So guys, happy Memorial Day. And before we get into this, and I wanted you to be all up on panel at the beginning of the show here, because I put together a little montage, and I want you all guys to watch it, and I'd like to get your reaction after it. So just give me a second, because obviously the train wreck was real earlier, right before the show. And let's see here. Okay, here it is. Hang on, guys. I'm going to play this and then get your reaction after that.
Good morning. On behalf of the Lee and Betty Johnson Memorial Charity, we want to say thank you to all the veterans for their service, their commitment, their loyalty, most importantly for our freedoms. Their sacrifice is why we live in the best country in the world. So on behalf of the foundation, we want to represent as well and show our respect. Thank you, veterans. You're loved, honored, and remembered.
Why we're here is for Wreaths Across America. And it's a great organization. It's an organization that provides wreaths for the fallen military soldiers that have died. And they go out and lay wreaths around the holidays.
Mission 22 is an organization that, basically, we lose 22 veterans a day to suicide. And the purpose of Mission 22 is to eliminate that from ever happening. And where it ties in directly with Wreaths Across America is that's 22 wreaths a day that will have to be purchased forever. And we're trying to prevent that. So it's a great organization. It's helped out thousands of veterans.
The community that you have built online, and I don't get in every single Sunday, but most Sundays I'm here for your show. The community you've built online here is just, I feel like they're friends.
And know that what these veterans went through, what they've seen, what they had to do to fight for us. There's no other words to say.
Well, it's a time of reflection, the way I see it. This last week to really thank and support our veterans.
This was a banner year. We wound up filling the cemetery for the first time.
Now, knowing this is you got to go out there. You got to donate.
We bury here each day anywhere from 10 to 15 veterans per day.
Just imagine what their expression is going to be when I say we were able to raise enough money that we could do close to 300 wreaths for you guys. So what? Anyone want to start?
That was a pretty outstanding edit. I think it was pretty awesome.
Thank you, TJ. Yeah, Gary.
Yeah, I saw something in there that kind of touched my heart a little bit, and I think the person definitely deserves kudos and remembrance on this weekend. Charles Foster was a person that advocated for veterans in Arkansas, and I think that's who you played a clip of, and he has since passed away due to cancer, I believe. And even though he was not a veteran, I would like to acknowledge him on this Memorial Day weekend. Thank you.
Absolutely, and yeah, definitely rest in peace. He became a friend of mine. I wish I would have gotten to know him even better, but over the period of time that I did know him, he was a huge advocate for all veterans' causes, especially down there in Arkansas. Hey, Carl, thank you so much for coming in, and Paul, thank you so much for coming in. So we're getting together because this is our kickoff event for our fundraising drive for Wreaths Across America and Mission 22. And we brought on Eric because Eric has come on to talk about Wreaths Across America. And he also would like to talk to us about Mission 22 and a little bit more about them. But before we get into that, last year we raised for Mission 22 right around $1,250, I believe. It was somewhere around there. So for the generosity of this audience, it was absolutely amazing that we were able to split it. In fact, I think it was right down the middle, right around $1,500 for Wreaths Across America and Mission 22. So thank you to the audience for all of your generous donations. And my dad's already said that he'll match the first $100. So we're going to get into those links here in just a little bit. But Eric, thank you so much for being here. And why don't you tell us a little bit more about Mission 22?
Yeah, thanks for having me on again. Appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, Mission 22 was an organization that was started by veterans to help veterans. It is not necessarily a crisis type resolution service. However, they offer so many services once you get to that. They also have connections to a lot of the suicide hotlines and things if there are people in dire need that they will get them there. But they really offer, and they're the service members, they're the veterans, they're the families as well. They have some great family programs that can allow. One of the hardest things I ever did, I deployed 10 times overseas, and I deploy with different partners, different, wives, girlfriends. One of the hardest things to do is to transition sometimes after deployment. And, they have services that help in that, that because sometimes can put stress on a marriage, a life that can cause those things. And they have all that available. So it's a very wide range about any help that you could need. They can provide, or they have somewhere of directing you to that to help get that number, from 22 down. There's a lot of stigma on that number, and we're still right around that number. There's been talk it's closer to 20, but it's right around that number. And we, we're happy it hasn't gone up, that it's not known as Mission 24 yet or something. That's a good thing.
Yes.
Not trying to be too lighthearted, but we're happy the number is maintained, and we're even hearing some stats that it is on the way down. Another great thing about Mission 22, it's almost all volunteer fed. There's over 4,000 ambassadors worldwide that are volunteer ambassadors that are either veterans, service members, or civilians that help contribute, pass the word. my day job, I work for, large corporation with Chase, for example, and I take the word to them. I do events at Chase. We lead up the Veterans Day with doing 22 push-ups every day. And then on Veterans Day, we kind of have, there's a family I have that lost somebody to suicide, their son, and they come and talk about it and kind of commemorate, Veterans Day in that way. So, it's all about whatever the people do. And it's these ambassadors that really make it so special and what they go out and put out there in the community.
So what do you do for Mission 22? Are you an ambassador, or do you just...
I am an ambassador. I basically spread the word in my region, Delaware, Maryland. Things I can do is I bring it to a lot of, as the summer season's coming, we go to a lot of festivals. We have a really large festival that we started. I'm also on the board for Vet Fest, which is in Delaware. It's a huge, huge festival where we basically bring civilians and veterans together. We bring a lot of service organizations together that have services for these veterans, and it allows the community to kind of appreciate the veterans. It's all around Stop Soldier Suicide. It's a local organization called Stop Soldier Suicide that's also globally, and we support the local Stop Soldier Suicide and that's where like Mission 22 interlinks with Stop Soldier Suicide. And so we have that event, which is a huge success every year. We have the band Mark Foreigner. He was in a band back in the day, but he comes and donates his band now, and they come and perform. And it's kind of like we kind of take a lighthearted approach to suicide. We're there to talk about it, but then we also enjoy ourselves. You can have a beer, listen to some good music and things of that nature. But yeah, I just try to take the word out to all these events, try to make myself available to be able to pass the word and work on that number. I've lost 6 people that I've served with, unfortunately, to the epidemic. And, I think of all 6 of those each and every day. And this is kind of my way since I retired from the military several years ago is, the biggest thing about service members is, serving upon yourself. You want to serve a greater cause than just for you. That's kind of what this allows me to do. Wreaths Across America, Mission 22, Stop Soldier Suicide. These things allow me to do that.
Right. And Brian was actually the one that brought Mission 22 to our attention. So Brian is the one that has the most, he deserves the most credit for this, because if it wasn't for Brian, it wouldn't have been brought to my attention. But as a charity, the Lee and Betty Johnson Memorial Charity, we want to help reduce the amount of wreaths that we need to get for the cemeteries. And so, Brian, why don't you, elaborate on that after you unmute yourself?
Yeah, that usually helps. So I was introduced to Mission 22 by a veteran friend of mine. He is 2 Wheels to Survive. If you look him up, he's on all the socials, and his thing was to ride his motorcycle through 22 national parks in 22 days. Lives out in the Seattle area, based at Fort Lewis when he retired. And that was kind of his start on it. He's done other things. He got up to 20 last year, but his goal is 22 1,000-mile rides in 24 hours. And it just a really good friend of mine from Scouts. I kind of backed him on it. And then, when I met you, Wreaths Across America, it's another amazing organization. I've heard about them in the past, and you shared their story. And I realized that these 2 organizations, they're tied closer together than I think either one may realize. If we're losing 22 our service members a day to suicide, that's horrible as it is. And then where Wreaths Across America comes in, that's 22 wreaths that we're going to have to place on tombstones. 22 of them, and it's not just going to be once. It's going to be forever.
Yep.
So if we can reduce, through the services that Mission 22 offers, reduce that number, those are wreaths then that we don't have to worry about, at least not right now. Let's all hope our veterans, pass of natural causes, at very old ages, and they will get a wreath then, but we don't need that number to start 30, 40, 50, 60 years before it needs to.
Absolutely.
And that's just the way I feel about it. And Eric, I don't know, does that make sense to you, or?
Oh, totally. I love your thinking. You're starting at the source of the problem to get that number down. Because as a Wreaths Across America, I'm a location coordinator. I have over 20,000 souls buried at my cemetery, and that's one of our struggles is to get wreaths for all those graves. We try to cover as many as we can, and I'm always so stressed about getting enough wreaths for those graves. But like you're saying, supporting Mission 22. Hopefully we'll keep that number down, because as the one clip, I think that was a cemetery director you interviewed there, JJ, they're burying 10, 15 people a day, and that's the same in our cemetery. Fortunately, a lot of them are due to natural causes and, old age and things of that nature. But there are those that are unfortunately still, succumbing to this. So yeah, why not start there, and it's a lot different in our generation than, a lot of the older generation, because a lot of the younger generation knows it's out there. It's just a matter of getting in touch with it. And one interesting statistic is that suicide has actually gone up in the 30 to 45 age bracket. So a lot of people think it's a younger man's game, but women and then men that are in older years also, or middle age, let me call it, are actually more at risk of suicide. And it used to be a switch where it was under 30. So it's one of those things that when I was I even do it in my corporate job, is sometimes my high up managers that I have no reason to just reach out to, is I might reach out and say, hey, how you doing today? They're like, what do you want? I'm like, I just want to say hi. Say, make sure you're okay. And I do that. And it's still in the military mindset of, you got to check on everybody. You got everybody sick. And, it's not always the people you see that are having trouble. It's the people that you don't. And like we've seen that transition a little bit go into an age bracket that normally we did not see that before.
Do you know why there's that shift to the older age bracket?
There hasn't been a whole lot on it, except it's a lot of these people are career military now. It used to be people got in and they did their 6-year tour, their 10 years. You're getting a lot of people that are doing their 20 years, like I did, 24. So you're getting a lot of those people that got in when they were 20. They're doing their 20 years. Sometimes they're at those command levels. There was a chief master sergeant out of the DC Guard not long ago that unfortunately did this. And they would have never thought it. I knew one of the people that worked for him, and she reached out to me, and I was like, I couldn't believe it. She's like, yeah. She's like, there were no signs. There was really no signs. And so I think it's really just a transition that a lot of people in our generation are making military more career. So they're sticking around longer. But in the same mindset, these struggles and these demons get to them longer as well.
So obviously the easiest way for people to help out with Mission 22 is just like Wreaths Across America, donate by going to mission22.com and donating to the organization. But is there any other way that you can actually help out?
Well, I mean, you can become an ambassador to pass the word, to make sure people are out there. If you have community events, you can, there's a lot of literature even online. If you don't want to take the commitment of necessarily signing up, you can even get the word spread there's a lot of online printed material that anybody can print that would at least give the word of Mission 22. One thing I will say that they are doing, that this money goes towards. So people are listening and they're like, all right, well, we're donating, what are some of the things? And one thing that they do is they're doing biometric screening on a lot now. So they are actually using laptops from service members that have passed away, and they're doing forensic backgrounds on these to try to prevent other people from going down that route. So they're actually, using the computer technology to try to do research to see whether it's Google searches or different things they're doing or activity or types of phone calls, different things that, unfortunately it's not helping that person because they're no longer with us. However, it's allowing the family to help Mission 22, and then in turn, Mission 22 hopefully can prevent that in the future. So that's one great kind of technology thing that they're doing that is awesome, that they partnered with Stop Soldier Suicide, and they're doing that where they're accepting, tech devices from members that passed in that manner, and they're doing all that. So yeah, I mean, obviously donate. It's going to these great causes, all these organizations, that are allowing hopefully that number to get down. I want to, see that number, a lot lower in a couple years. It's definitely a gradual process, but they are doing a lot with that money. And then, like I said, there is a resource center on their website that you can print literature and at least get the word out. If you're at a veteran, VA fair or something, you have a table somewhere at a VFW that you go to, you could put the stuff out. You could put it out. There's no harm in that. And at least the word's out there.
Gary had his hands up. Gary, do you have a question?
Yeah, I have a question for Mr. Lope. Sir, have you ever been in a position where one of your comrades had reached out to you and was on edge?
Yeah. I actually had it happen at my work environment. A lady, she had been in the Air Force. We had, a relationship. We were friends, and her manager knew what I was kind of about and called me one day. She's like, "You need to get over here. Krista is in a bad place." And she had shown up to work completely drunk. It had to do with, kids and ex-husband and, meaninglessness. I basically sat with her in her car almost the whole shift, trying to talk her down. And it was, she had a gun with her, and it was definitely like, what to get involved, how to do it. I felt comfortable. I actually took her home, and my wife and I kind of, my wife befriended her a little bit, tried to use the female side. We were letting her stay the night, and she ended up actually, running out. She was trying to run away to get probably more alcohol. I mean, we went to her house, and her house was like a liquor store, like a hurricane went through a liquor store. And she was leaving. And a great thing in Delaware we actually have a county unit that has a veterans response team. So they have what they call the VRT. And I knew this from my dealings. So I actually called the VRT. And they were able to get her the help she needed. She ended up in a counseling, very extreme counseling, inpatient type program. And everything I know today, she's doing a lot better, and she's doing well. But that was a trying couple days, especially that first day getting in the car with her and dealing with that. But that was the one, like, I've deployed with people that seemed fine, and within a week of coming home, they had, one guy told me the story. He actually worked on the guy's firing pin on his 45 before the deployment. Kind of on the side, he kind of worked on his firing pin. The guy comes home from deployment, uses that gun, unfortunately. So yeah, I've been there several times with good friends that did it right after deployment, but I was never really that active. But this one at work, I was, and it was definitely not easy.
TJ, Brian, or Chris, do any of you guys have any questions for Eric?
I don't know. I'm trying to think of something to ask, but I can't really think of anything at the moment.
It's okay.
Maybe later.
Okay. So what's
can I say one thing, JJ?
Yeah. Go ahead, Eric.
I would like to invite you, and I don't know if it's going to work or not, but I'm going to extend the invite. I know we got some drivers on here, some truckers and things and all that. We have Vet Fest in Whitehall, Delaware, which, great city of Whitehall. It's September 24th, I believe. I got to check the exact date. But it's that Saturday. That's our big Vet Fest festival. And I would love for you to be able to be there and come. And again, like, we raise money for Wreaths Across America there. We raise money for Mission 22, Stop Soldier Suicide. It's all around that. So we'll talk more about the exact date, but I would love for you guys to, anybody that wants to, if you want to make the trip up, I'd love to be your host. Come Delaware, see the first state, and also for a good cause as well.
Absolutely. Let's stay in contact. I've got the date written down tentatively right now for the 24th of September. We'll make that work one way or the other. How about that? Let's get the dates, and we'll get all the logistics and everything set up. But I'd love to be there.
September 20th. I'm sorry, September 20th.
20th. Okay.
Yep, I just went on my calendar. It's the 20th. That's the Saturday.
All right. Well, I will reserve some vacation time, and I will be out there in Delaware for that. And then we'll bring the cameras, and we'll do a whole show.
Yeah, our cemetery's not far from there. So I'd love for you to come to our local cemetery. It's in Bear, Delaware, and so yeah, love to show you around.
That'll be awesome. I mean, it'd be great to meet you in person too. Yes, Gary.
For
A two-part thing. If you do ever make it up there and meet Mr. Lope in person and everything, my father is, like I told you, he's buried at the Delaware Veterans Cemetery, and check that out. They're pretty much all cookie cutter. I hate to say it like that, but Mr. Lope, can you give me an idea, like statistically, with the Delaware Veterans Cemetery, at least like say in Bear, that you're probably more familiar with, how many veterans do you feel are in there from self-termination?
It's really a hard number because not everyone discloses that information. So I really can't guess at that number. It's really, I personally know probably about 24, that I know of. I didn't know closely all those, but I've known through my work at least 24 in the 6 years I've been doing it. But I mean, I know the numbers are higher than that, but it's all what I know. But that's a good question. And I know that one time, the reason for death is not always given. And sometimes it's, especially with suicide, they don't always say that. So I'm sure that would be kind of not a very true number if they did give us a number.
And we're gonna kind of break this up a little bit because the biggest thing is I want to honor our veterans. So let me go ahead and pull up our first tribute here, and this is all thank you to Gary from Jailbait and Tackle Outdoors. Like I said, he has been hustling. So here's our first one.
Today we say thank you. We remember and honor H.R. Butcher, Sergeant H.R. Butcher, U.S. Army, served in Korea. As you can see, I have placed a penny. Today we say thank you. We remember and honor H.R. Butcher, Sergeant H.R. Butcher, U.S. Army, served in Korea. As you can see, I have placed a penny to represent that he has been visited, honored, remembered, loved, and respected. So follow this channel if you want to learn more what the coins represent. We say thank you to Sergeant H.R. Butcher. Today we say thank you,
Gary. Sorry about the mix-up at first, but yeah. I've got a ton more of those, so I'm going to try and break up every once in a while to remember some of the fallen, because that's what today is all about. The biggest thing that is important for me is to remember and the teach part of Wreaths Across America, and part of the way that we teach our younger generations is by remembering the ones that have passed and some of the stories that they've done. And I've got a story here that Chris shared with me, actually. Oops. This one is about Army Private First Class Ross A. McGinnis. He's 19 of Knox, PA, assigned to the 1st Battalion, 26th Infantry Regiment. 2nd Brigade Combat Team, 1st Infantry Division. And maybe you can help me with that, Eric. Is Schweinfurt, Germany? I don't know. Died December 4th of injury sustained when a grenade was thrown into his vehicle while in Baghdad. Self-sacrificing courage. When a grenade hit his Humvee, McGinnis saved 4 others instead of himself. The convoy of 6 Humvees left forward operating base Apache the afternoon of December 4th. The mission was to patrol the streets of, I can't even pronounce that either, Adamia, in northeast Baghdad, and find a place to put a 250 kilowatt generator that would provide electricity for more than 100 homes. Shortly after they left their compound, soldiers of 1st Platoon C Company, 1st Battalion, 26th Infantry Regiment turned off a major roadway and onto a side street. The street was lined on both sides with parked cars and 2-story buildings. As the convoy was stopped on the street less than a mile from FOB Apache, an insurgent standing on a nearby rooftop threw a grenade into the 6th and last Humvee. "Grenade!" yelled McGinnis, who was manning the vehicle's M2 50 caliber machine gun. McGinnis, facing backwards because he was in the rear vehicle, tried to deflect the grenade, but it fell into the Humvee and lodged between the radios. Sergeant First Class Cedric Thomas, 1st Platoon's platoon sergeant, immediately looked up at McGinnis. "Where?" "The grenade is in the truck," replied McGinnis, who was standing up and getting ready to jump out of the vehicle. McGinnis turned and looked down and realized no one in the truck knew where the grenade was, said Captain Michael Baca, his company commander. He knew everyone had their doors combat locked and they wouldn't be able to get out. Instead of jumping out of the truck to save his own life, like he had been trained to do, McGinnis threw his back against the radio mount, smothering the explosive with his body. I looked down out of the corner of my eye as I was crouching down and I saw him pin it down, Thomas said in a statement provided by the multinational division Baghdad. McGinnis had time to jump out of the truck, Thomas later told Army Times. For him to jump in and out, I've seen him do it day in and day out. He can get out in a second, but he didn't. He stayed there, Thomas said. When I think about it, I just get shocked because he always said, "Sergeant T, if a grenade fell in, I wouldn't know what I'd do." He's a hero. An absolute hero. Saved a lot of guys. And we will always remember Army Private First Class Ross A. McGinnis. Thank you for your service and rest in peace, soldier. Whew, that's a tough one. I'm sure you've heard plenty of stories like that, Eric.
Oh, for sure. That's one reason, there's a quote out there and it hasn't been assigned to any person. So I paraphrase, but it basically states that a soldier dies twice, once when he takes his last breath, and then when his name is never uttered again. And that's one thing, you mentioned the teach aspect. We also honor these fallen. And one thing that, even though I've not been able to get 20,000 wreaths to honor all the veterans at my cemetery, for example, I still have some of these youth groups, Boy Scout groups, Civil Air Patrol, etc. They go around the whole cemetery and we honor every name by saying every name. So every December, all 20,000 plus names at that cemetery at least are being uttered, so they're not being forgotten. We did do the pennies once, Gary. However, the cemetery, there was 20,000 pennies at the end. Clean up was a little bit. They kind of came back on me on that. Like, there was a lot of change, a lot of cool, getting cut up in the mowers. And anyway, so
that'll pay for a couple of wreaths there, my friend Eric.
There you go.
Be bitching that.
but we did do that. I had that idea, and then it was almost too large scale. But we still say each name, and that's one reason if you sign up, if you're on like social media for like Wreaths Across America, any of the sites, you always see they're telling stories of these names, and that's part of the big purpose is they don't want the names to go unmentioned, so they're telling these stories, and I appreciate you telling that story. That's one of the great ones. Hearing these stories about these heroes, and that's what Memorial Day is all about. If I'm blue to the face, how many people I've had to correct that told me about having great weekend and celebrate and all this. And I'm like, okay, let me tell you about Memorial Day. It's for those heroes. Like you just mentioned, it's not for me. It's not for those people that are over there in Syria and Iraq and Kuwait right now. It's for those people that are not here, that are buried, that, of things like Wreaths Across America are honoring.
Amen, brother. And here's another video. This is brought to us by Chris from Shade Tree America. So, Chris, thank you very much.
This is a local park that is in honor of all of the men and women who served in our country, who have lived here locally. They have multiple different wars that are in here. Everybody who has passed that are local has a plaque. We have Revolutionary. We have the Spanish-American War of 1812. We have the Civil War. Now you'll see a lot of spaces in the middle like this or that whole side. That is so if other people are in the area and we have not found them, they can be put in here. And this is more Civil War. Men and women who have served this country to keep our nation safe. We have World War I. And like I said, there's a gap right there as well. Then this is World War II. And you'll see some of the blocks are dirty and some are clean. Those are the ones that are added. They're actually added every year. Over here is Vietnam. Next is Korea, which you will see it's a little dirty right now. I'm not sure exactly about upkeep, but I will have to find out about that. But this is Korea. Some people do go and put stuff on different spots. You'll actually see some places like that. Now some of this is peacetime, and there's one right there that somebody put something in there and honor somebody. And you get up a little bit farther, and you'll see sometimes where it says just Army, and some says peacetime. Now this is the designated area for Gulf War, Persian Gulf, and unfortunately, we do have some Afghanistan and Iraqi freedom. It's sad to see. But these are local people who have lived in the area, just like this one here. This Clyde Regis Henry. He lived in the area. He actually served for 2 years from 1950 to 1952 as an MP. Another one is Ricky Anderson. He served in the Marines and was during peacetime in the 90s. Those are a couple I know of. Here's one. Another one I do know of, Timothy Panzer. He actually passed away at Fort Leonard Wood during an accident. He was active duty. Evan Zupich, he was done with the military, and he was a civilian at the time of his passing.
Very nicely done, Chris. Thank you so much for making that video. What was going through your mind while you were making that, Chris? After you unmute yourself. I'm sorry. I muted everyone.
No, you're all right. Before I answer that, I want to add a couple things. One, amongst the hustle and bustle of life, I totally forgot about this. Ricky Anderson actually took his own life in April 16th of 1995. He had a lot of issues going on. That was actually my uncle. And so Mission 22 is something that, that's, it hit me quite a bit watching that video. I wanted to get out there and get something filmed for a long time. And it's kind of one of those things that when you get that in your realizing and slow down, I don't know if I did a good enough service with the video. I'm still kind of on the fence. I see a lot of flaws. I feel it wasn't a perfect video for everybody, and it should have been a perfect video. I just feel that I didn't serve as good as I should, as much as many of the men and women there did in their lives.
None of us are going to measure up to that, Chris, and put that on yourself. It would be a fool's errand because, oops, I'm sorry, I muted myself. So,
no, I heard you.
Oh, did you? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I did as well.
Okay.
So there's one other thing I wanted to mention as well. The initial video I made was like 10 minutes, and I cut it down to that. All around the perimeter were rocks, and there was rocks from different battlefields in different areas that have significance with the United States military, either be Army, Navy, Marines, Air Force, all of them. And there was rocks from everything from the Battle of Saratoga to an actual stone that came from Saddam Hussein's palace that is all around there and is carved into where it came from.
That's pretty awesome.
So it's not only keeping the memories of these brave men and women alive. It's keeping what was fought for, what we went through over the years to just get to where we are now.
Right. Well, the reason that I started this charity is to remember the people that fought for us and died for us, and not only that, but adding Mission 22 to this is helping the ones that do come back from the battlefield. And this year, I am honored to say that the Lee and Betty Johnson Memorial Charity is a recognized sponsorship group for Wreaths Across America. So one of the ways that you can donate to Wreaths Across America is not only by donating to our PayPal account, but you can actually go to the website, and I have that pinned in the chat over on YouTube. And if you have any questions on how to get to here, I'm more than happy to help point that out. So far, we don't have any, wreaths purchased here, but if you want to sponsor wreaths through our website, you can actually come here and purchase a wreath here. And that's one way that you don't. The biggest thing is with the charity is I don't care how much we make as long as we're helping the organization. So if you donate through the website, if you donate through our PayPal, it doesn't really matter to me. Just know that if you donate to the PayPal, 100% of everything that we take in, nothing goes to me or the board members. 100% of every penny goes to exactly where we say it goes. The other thing that I want to bring up is this one as well. This is our PayPal. Again, this PayPal, if you come in here and you hit donate, you can donate one time. You can set up a regular donation that comes out every week, every month. You can donate from $1.50, I'm sure, but you could basically donate any amount. And I don't say there's no amount that's too little. We'll take any size donation, and like my dad said, the first $100 he'll match. But using this giving fund has made it possible for us to take donations without any fees. So definitely use this link if you would like to give money to Mission 22 or Wreaths Across America. And if you want to be considered, or if you want your money to go one way or another, make sure that you don't do an anonymous donation, because I'm going to email you to thank you and find out where you want the money to go. If you leave it anonymous, I'm just going to split it between the two organizations. So definitely include your email if you do a donation, if you want it to go to Wreaths Across America or Mission 22, or if you don't care, definitely just leave it anonymous, and we will split it between the two groups. The other way that you can help is by coming here to Dan's Facebook page. If you're a friend with Dan, maybe he has a fundraiser for the Lee and Betty Johnson Memorial Charity. He's raised $52, and that $52 has allowed us to get up to $776 already, and we didn't even start our fundraising until today. So it's been a fantastic start to all of this. But, we have a ways to go if we want to beat what we did about 2 years ago. And then the last way financially that we have to help is by going to jjsliftedhorizons.myspreadshop.com. All of the new JJ's Lifted Horizon merchandise is up towards the top. All of the older merchandise from the JJ Drones channel is all going to be replaced after the second week of June. I already have the new logos for that. So let me just share that with you guys. For Blinker Fluid of the Week, we have, where did it go? Oh, right up here. So for Blinker Fluid of the Week, this is going to be the new logo for that. And that will be in the Spreadshirt shop after the second week of June. And then Welcome to the Train Wreck. That's going to be there as well. So we've got a whole lot of new merchandise that's going to be coming out, so you can help out that way. And then the best way to help is just to watch the videos on my channel. Watch the videos, share them, subscribe to the channel. do everything that you can to get those watch hours up, because the more people watch the videos, the more money those videos make. And I'm going to be donating the money that I make on YouTube, on Spreadshirt Shop, through affiliate program through Amazon. So if you go on Amazon and you're buying something anyway, email me the link to that Amazon product and I'll send you back another link. And whatever you purchase, it goes into a fund through Amazon. And then whatever money is being made there, then I'll be able to actually make money off of that as well. So, and all that money is going to go to Wreaths Across America and Mission 22. And then another thing that we have going on again this year is Coal Gray Racing. They are sponsoring, or they're not sponsoring, but they're allowing us to have our logo on the front of the car again, so that people can walk around and look at the car, and the QR code is on the front for the PayPal. So a huge thank you to Coal Gray Racing for allowing us to have the charity logo on the front of the car, because they don't have to do that. They do that because they believe in what we're doing. Let's see here. Tony says, duty, honor, country. Those three hallowed words reverently dictate what you ought to be, what you can be, what you will be. Absolutely, Tony. So I just wanted to run by a couple things that I've talked to the board about. Now, there are some fundraising ideas, which are the Spreadshirt sales, YouTube revenue. I'd like to do a Wreaths Across America calendar, because I've got enough pictures that I've taken at all the Wreaths Across America events that I can do a 12-month calendar. So if anybody is interested in that, it would be something to where I'd like to get, between 15 to 20 orders for that. And then obviously we'd have to make some money on that to go towards Wreaths Across America and Mission 22. So if you're interested in that, let me know. Send me an email, or even put a comment in the comment section below, and we'll total that up. Another idea was ornaments, and then the PayPal Wreaths Across America website. And then if anyone has a 3D printer and you want to make any sort of things for that, let me know. Email me, jason@jjdrones360.com. I'm going to be doing a camping trip where I do 10 cents per mile. I don't know where that's going to be yet. That's out in August yet. So, in fact, the fundraising trip may be me going to Delaware. So we'll see. Let's see here. We can do cash donations. If you want to do cash, email me again, jason@jjdrones360.com. We're going to do the auction again this year. Hopefully, if Kathy is still in the chat, hopefully Kathy will get us another quilt, because she just does amazing things with that. I have Wreaths Across America flyers that we can send to you to print out, and then you can hang up anywhere. And then we've got super chats and super thanks. I don't really prefer those, because with super chats and super thanks, YouTube takes a cut of that. And then I've got a couple of service projects planned for this summer. I don't know how they're going to go, but these are a couple things that I want to try. And whoever wants to do these, again, send me an email, jason@jjdrones360.com, and we'll try and set something up. We've got Adopt a Vet, where if somebody in your neighborhood that's a veteran that needs help, like mowing their lawn or simple odds and ends around the house or something like that, that would be something that I would be interested in doing. If you're not in my area, you want to do it anyway, try and do a video, and we'll post it up on the YouTube channel. Gary has the pennies on headstones, but Eric says that might not be the best idea. That's a work in progress. We'll work through that.
It's not. It was just to the scale we did it to. It was
Right.
just, if you're doing it, but it was just the scale. It was a lot for the groundskeepers to deal with after the fact. That's all. So it's a great idea. Trust me, I do it. I love it. It was just we did 20,000 pennies, and that was a lot. So
Right. And then we got cleanup projects. There's a lot of cemeteries, especially down in Milton, Florida, where they need help with cleanup. And so if you can help out cleaning up a cemetery, that would be extremely appreciated. And then my last one, this one I stole from a radio show that I listened to a long time ago, Pay It Forward for a Vet. If you see veterans out having breakfast or lunch or something, and you basically go up, offer to buy their lunch or their breakfast for them. And, so if you do something like that, definitely email me and let me know, and we'll put the story up. Just type up a paragraph or two of what you did, and if you can get a picture, add the picture to it. So those are all the ideas that I have. Anybody else have any thoughts on those?
I do, Jason.
Yeah, Brian.
I'm going to do the same as you do. I have a vacation planned to the Clear Lake, Mason City area of Iowa, from where I live here in Milwaukee. I know it's a destination spot for everyone, but for those of you who know and follow my channel, the the Iowa Traction Railroad is the last interurban freight operation that uses overhead wirings. Most of their locomotives are Baldwin locomotives that are over 100 years old, and that's where they're at. So I'm going out there. I'm doing a couple YouTube videos, but I think I'm going to do take a picture of my odometer, probably the trip meter before I leave. Go out there, all my little side trips, because those of you who chase trains around know that you drive all day, continually drive all day, because of what you're after. So all the mileage I put on that trip for that week is going to be 10 cents a mile to the charity.
That's awesome, Brian. Thank you so much for offering to do that. That's great. Anybody else have any ideas other than what I have just listed?
I do. Are you ready?
Go for it, Gary. Yep.
Well, I already mentioned at the last minute, right before you went live, I'm going to try and coordinate something with some military motorcycle clubs, see if they can do some type of poker run or something like that. Maybe like a golf tournament. I mean, when I did those in the past, when I raised money for high school football, we always made like $3,000 or $4,000, and that would be cool. That's a little bit of a pain in the backside, especially I don't have like the connections here in Milton, and to be honest with you, I don't know much about Milton other than the forest. Me and Sasquatch are tight, but as far as golf courses around here, I don't even know what's good or bad, but those are some ideas. But when you were talking about the penny thing, I wasn't referring to that as a fundraiser. That was just a noble gesture to honor the veterans. I didn't consider that a fundraiser.
No, I don't have that as a fundraiser. I have that as a service project. So basically, a service project would be something that we just have people do as far as honoring our fallen soldiers.
And then the other things, I will mention it just because Eric's here. We've talked about it a little bit, but I'm working on doing some type of conjunction service with Milton High School, perhaps joining the culinary arts department or whatever you want to call it with the ROTC to have some type of dinner, whether it be like a pasta dinner or something like that. I already told Jason one-on-one when I went out there to the Milton Cemetery to do a video, a guy approached me out of the blue a little bit intimidating, and I was just pretty much minding my own business. He's like, what are you doing here? Like, almost like I was like like a terrorist or something. And it turns out it's the dude I've been wanting to talk to from the ROTC at the Milton High School, Sergeant Fernandez or Hernandez or something like that. And I literally was so like, I don't know what you call it, man. These bugs are killing me here. But I just got tongue tied, and I lost all train of thought, and finally I was able to regain, and talk, about at least a spaghetti dinner or pasta dinner or something like that. And he was kind of like, the guy's a Marine, so he's like a little standoffish a little bit, and no disrespect to Marines out there, but he was like, we have to protect the kids and this, that, so I just kind of, I said, I mentioned who Jason was, what the charity is, what we want to do, and he goes, yeah, it has to go through a background check through the Navy, and I'm like, I'm okay with that, but I think it still would be a great idea. Just like it was just the right person at the wrong time. So I apologize for that.
No, it's fine. And before I'm gonna have to probably cut this short. I wanted to go a little bit longer, but my internet is saying that it's overheating, and I don't want to lose the stream. So, but before we go, let me play one more of these.
Today, the city of Milton, Florida, honors Marine Tony Tyndall. Served honorably from 1981 to 1985. He was a corporal. We thank you and respect your service, Marine, and America thanks you. God bless you.
So we have a lot of stuff going, and thank you, Gary, for that. And go and check out Gary over at Jailbait and Tackle Outdoors on YouTube. He has all of these different salutes that he's done to our fallen soldiers. So go check out his channel because he's got a bunch of them, and they're all very, very well done. But we've got a lot of things, a lot of ways that we can take donations this year. There is going to be probably a surprising donation nobody's going to realize, but it's in the works. I've got something in the works. And then, like I said, if Kathy will do a quilt, that would be great. If anybody else has anything they want to donate for our auction, get in touch with me, Jason at jjdrones360.com, or if you have my number, just give me a call and we'll talk about it. But there's so many different ways to donate. If you're interested in the calendar, email me and let me know, or put it in the comments below so that I know if we have enough interest in order to do a calendar like that. If you're interested in ornaments, we could also look into doing that. Again, the more interest there is, the more likely we're going to do it, because if we have a bunch of interest, it drops the price of them, and then we can get more money going to the item or to the charity. So that's basically a starting point. This isn't the end point. So if you guys have ideas, definitely send them to me. Send them to anyone that's on the board, which is Gary, Brian, or Dan, or myself, and then we'll have a meeting and try and figure out where we go from there. But this fundraising drive goes to November. And I appreciate Eric for you coming, not only coming on the show today, but for inviting me out there to Delaware, and then in September. And so September 20th, if you're in the Delaware area, in Whitehall, Delaware, you can come out and join me and Eric while we get together for Mission 22 and Wreaths Across America out there in Delaware. Going to be fun.
Look forward
to it. Anybody else have anything to add before my modem goes kaput?
I'll just say this real quick, just to clarify things. Eric, correct me if I'm wrong. Whitehall is actually in Maryland, but where Eric is and where the Veterans Cemetery is kind of close to the Maryland line. Is that correct, Mr. Eric?
Whitehall is actually in Delaware.
Oh, there is a Whitehall, Delaware.
It's basically a Stepford Wives community. It's basically like one of those areas. All the houses look the same. They have like a pharmacy. They have a school there. There is a Whitehall, Delaware. Yes.
Okay, I knew of a Whitehall, Maryland. I didn't know
Yeah,
that. Okay.
the person that built the whole area, he basically is in charge. His son started 22 and 22 in Delaware and started the whole Met Fest thing, so they have it there. So,
Okay.
yeah, no, it is Whitehall, Delaware, and it's about 10 minutes from the Bear Delaware Cemetery. And on your note, Gary, when you talked to me last year about the school, like you were talking about the meal, I actually have an Army Guard recruiter who is embedded in one of our local high schools. He does, and they've done like that show Chopped or something, like competition cooking and different things. And I've already talked to him, and this year it's too late, but he's going to get me when the school starts up in September. We're going to try to do some kind of fundraiser meal like you were talking about through them. So
awesome.
Yeah, I got a guy on the inside, so to speak. So it
There
makes
you go.
it easier.
Well,
That's
at the
good.
end of it, at the end of every program, I allow everybody to give their last word. We'll start with Gary and work our way around to me.
All right. Thanks for putting me on the spot there in the dark here. Well, just remember, folks, veterans paid a price. Freedom is not free.
Chris?
It's it's a somber day tomorrow. We're remembering the ones who fought and either paid the sacrifice by their life in the battlefield or their life after combat. And I think the best way to help out anybody is, like Eric said, ask somebody how you're doing. See how they're doing. Just ask them if they're having a bad day. Take that few minutes, because you never know what you could do to change their life in just a few minutes.
Absolutely. Eric?
Yeah, definitely remember, honor, teach, and just like take a moment. One of my good friends, Jason Fletcher, passed away October 30th, 2017. Just like to remember him. He was one of those guys I deployed with. He was my guy on my one deployment. And within 30 days of coming home, unfortunately, he took his own life. So just like to remember Fletch, as we call him, on this day. Thank you for having me.
Amen, brother. Brian? Unmute.
Sorry, I got
There
a
you
lot of
go.
background noise here. I think Dan wrote it. Maybe it was you, Gary. And I'm going to probably quote this wrong, but tomorrow is you're cooking some hot dogs, grilling some burgers. That's the most expensive meal that you're going to have, because that was written by the blood of our fallen. So just there is no price you can put on that. All we can do is remember them and honor them.
Very well said, Brian. TJ?
Just y'all have a very happy and safe Memorial Day weekend tomorrow. Thank you for all the soldiers that fought for this country of ours, and just remember each and every one of them. And yeah, that's all I got to say.
Very nice. And then I guess that's leaves me. Thank you, everybody, for being here tonight. It's definitely been a journey, and it's been a 3-year journey. And this year, I would love to be able to surpass the record that we had 2 years ago. It's been an honor to even do this, and I appreciate everybody that has ever donated. And I've never taken any donation for granted. And if you made a donation, I know that I've reached out to thank you personally. And I will continue to do that. No matter how many people donate, I will reach out to you personally, as long as I know who you are. So if you don't donate anonymously, then I'll know who sent the donation. I can reach out to you. But, we go from now until Thanksgiving Day or the Thanksgiving Day weekend. And then after that, we have to cut it off because I need to make sure that I get that check out to Wreaths Across America before the cutoff date. But I think it's going to be an exciting year. I hope that we're able to get some of these service projects done. And if, like I said, if anyone is interested in doing one of these service projects, and, email me, jason@jjdrones360.com, and write a story of what you did with some pictures or do a video. And I will put it up on the YouTube channel. So thank you, everybody that has been here. Thank you to Mr. Eric for coming in and giving us his insight. Go check out mission22.com, wreathsacrossamerica.org, and go check out and do our donations for the Lee and Betty Johnson Memorial Charity. Links are in the chat right now, and they will be in the description of the video very, very soon. I just want to remind you guys that every road leads to a new story. Keep writing yours. We'll see you on the next live stream, guys. Thank you for coming. Good night, everybody.
Thank you.